you. Can you hear all that breathing? That's because I just woke up in the morning and I just quit smoking again. Thank you, Tim the Pilgrim, for that beautiful rendition of the acoustic podcast jingle here on Wax's Podcast, episode 155. That's 155, folks. 155. Did you ever learn to count? Then you know what I'm talking about, don't you? How many times on this podcast can I talk about the same thing? I'll tell you what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the fact that I just quit smoking cigarettes. I've quit smoking cigarettes so many times that I'm just very familiar with the symptoms. As my roommate just told me, my lovely roommate Camila, who's been living with me for years. She's been living with me for 2 years, and she's experienced me quitting smoking probably 15 times. So me quitting smoking really is like a girl in her period. I do it about once a month. And the fucked up period of time, no pun intended. It's not really a pun if it's the same word. What's that, a homophone, a homonym, or what the fuck is that called? I don't know. But it really is a lot like a period. It lasts about 3 days, and you have about, with the exception of physical blood, and whatever else comes out of there, I don't know, I'm a man. It's kind of similar. You can just feel yourself getting irritated. Well, the first couple times you quit smoking cigarettes, you just get irritated. But like when you do it, when you've quit smoking cigarettes 1,000 times like I have for the first 3 days, especially when the second day ends and the third day begins. Today's the third day. Last night was the second day. Second night. And that's when it really comes and gets you. That's when the nicotine turns you into kind of an asshole. And if you're familiar with it enough, you can combat it. You can step outside of yourself and say, this is a chemical reaction. Me being an asshole is because of biological chemistry within the human anatomy in the body. Me being an asshole right now is because of the body and the chemicals and the withdrawal. That's why I'm being an asshole. I'm not actually a dick. But you got to realize that sometimes people don't deserve to be talked to the way that you're talking to them. You got to do things to relieve stress. I went to a yoga class last night, and it was really fucking difficult. Really difficult. Especially considering the fact that I haven't gone in a while. Before Monday, I spent the last 2 weeks kind of fucking around. Just eating fucking bullshit food every day, spending tons of money on booze and cigarettes, loafing around. I felt like I had accomplished some things. I felt like I'd got some projects done. So I did a lot of loafing around. Just fucking loafing. Fucking loafing, man. We was down the road. We just loafing around. Sitting down there at home on the couch, just loafing around. Loafing around at home on the couch. Loafing around at home on the couch. Loafing around at home on the couch. I was loafing around at home down the road. If I want to eat crabs on my couch down the road or on my boat, I'm going to loaf around. Just loafing around. Getting fat and getting my body ready to get a disease. Telling my body, you know what? I don't care about you. I don't care about you. I don't care about your future. I want to make you more vulnerable. If there's a disease that wants to come in here and attack, let's put our guard down. I want my immune system to not have a wall. I want my immune system to be penetrable. I want my immune system to be open border. Come on in, leukemia, or whatever the fuck. I don't want to talk about specific diseases because you or your family member might have one. Already fucked up bad enough with leukemia. But, every once in a while, you got to take a step back and look at your own situation and try to improve it. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, what the fuck am I doing to myself? How can I improve my situation? How can I make my future brighter? I'm going to stop singing today. You got to look at yourself as the children and believe that they are the future. It's harder and easier once you get older. Once you get older, it's more difficult to care because your youth is already behind you. And you're like, what am I even working for? Who cares? But it's actually much easier because you're like, ooh, I'm about as old as when people get all these diseases and shit. You hear people having heart attacks and they're like, how old was he? He's like, 2 years younger than you, actually. Stop eating whatever food gives people heart attacks. I don't know. Not well educated on the subject. But, yeah, even the way I'm talking on this podcast, you can tell. It's early in the morning. I just drank a cup of coffee. The nicotine is fading. There's two phases. There's two steps of the cigarette shit. The first step is the physical addiction, which is like 3 days, in my experience. If you get past the third day, the fourth, fifth, sixth day are fine. And the second step, if you're an alcohol consumer, is being able to, drink and not smoke. Because to me, they go hand in hand. And I've never been able to do it successfully. Once you get 10 days in, you're just like, oh, well, I could just have one. And that's it. Classic story. Not going to go into it. We all know what addiction means. But here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. Shouldn't even say that. Saying hurricane nowadays might as well be like saying leukemia. Jesus Christ. There's been 3 hurricanes since my last podcast and 5 earthquakes. Shouldn't be insinuating that I want to joke about these things. The one in Mexico was really bad. A lot of people died. I was very sad to watch that footage. If you're listening to this from Mexico City, that sucks. I'm very sorry for you. Got you in my thoughts and prayers. How many people, when they say that they have... People that pay attention to my social media might think that I'm very insensitive or just lazy or just don't give a fuck. I never ever post that I'm praying for a country where there was a terrorist attack or a natural disaster, because I'm not. I don't pray. Am I the problem? Is the reason all these things are happening is because me, Michael Jones, is not praying? Is that what's going on? I've never thought about this before. All these people online, when something happens, the hashtag becomes prayers for Paris, prayers for Mexico City, prayers for, I don't know, wherever something fucked up happened. When a celebrity has a car accident or something like that. I very rarely post about celebrity deaths too. The way I look at celebrities dying and posting something about it on Twitter, I'll do it every once in a while if I'm very, very affected by it. I might do like a RIP post, but if you start posting about every celebrity that comes on the trending topic, then you're like, you posted about fucking Gary Shandling. How are you not going to post about Mike Tyson? You're setting yourself up for how can you post about them when you didn't post about them? So I posted about Prince. And that's about it. Anyway. It turns out that there's all these tragedies, all these natural disasters happening. Got a lot of hurricanes. People are saying it's global warming. There's a lot of damn near threats for World War III. People are blaming it on Donald Trump. And it turns out I just discovered that the actual reason for all these things happening is the fact that I'm not praying. If only I would have posted on Twitter, first of all, that I was praying for the victims, and then actually kneeled down next to my bed, and I guess in my head said, God, please let everything be okay down there. If I would have said that, the world would be a perfect sinless place. But since I didn't, God was like, man, fuck all of y'all because of Mike. And God's like, I'm not calling him wax. God already views it as a slight to him. Because as you know, one of the commandments, I believe the very first one, there's only one God. I'm God. Me. G-O-D. I am he. Bow to thee. There's only one God. You shall not worship false prophets. So the moment a man says, you know what, I'm not, first of all, my mom gave me this name, not God. But maybe God gave it to her through her. I don't know. But the moment I say, you know what, I have a fancy name. I am Wax. I sell T-shirts with my name. I sell coffee mugs that say my grandiose 3-letter name on it. Wax. I am better than a man. I deserve a name. A 1-syllable name, just like the man upstairs. God already sees that as a slight. So when I don't pray, he says, how about this? How about this, Wax? I mean, Mike. I'm not calling you Wax. I'm not dignifying that because there's only one God. Like I said in the commandments, which you didn't read. So how about this? I'm going to melt the fucking ice caps. When you see Florida underwater, when you see people walking through Manhattan, strolling down Broadway with water up to their kneecaps, you can thank Wax for not fucking praying. Signed, God. So, when you get a D on your report card, when your little brother falls off the swing set and breaks his arm, when you order that thing off Amazon and you try to get it just in time for your friend's birthday, but it comes a little bit late, due to who knows what, I'll tell you what it was. It was Lack of Prayer by Michael Jones, Sherman Oaks, California. Shouldn't be saying all this shit. Motherfucker's taking notes right now. He listens to everybody, right? It's bad enough that God is taking notes on my podcast right now, saying, Sherman Oaks, huh? You mean that city that's right on the San Andreas Fault? It's bad enough that God's taking notes right now. Santa Claus is up there taking notes too. I'm going to get coal in my stocking plus have an earthquake. Double whammy. Double fucking whammy. Can I do a rhyme where I rhyme double whammy? Double fucking whammy. With moons over my fucking hammy. Would that win me a fucking Grammy? Huh? Why am I so mad? Why am I talking like this? I'll tell you why. It's because of the lack of nicotine. Might need an antihistamine. Split your spleen. Versus the Listerine. Looking like Mr. Clean. I ain't sipping lean. Hey, mind's active in the morning. The mind is active in the morn. You know why? Because I didn't calm it down through prayer. I haven't. It's kind of, I don't know. Prayer is an interesting thought. I definitely, I grew up Catholic. If you haven't listened to this podcast and didn't know, I did grow up going to church every Sunday. My mom, who listens to this podcast, I'm sorry, Mom, you're probably offended by this one, but she listens to this podcast, and she is a devout Catholic. And she often tells me to pray, and she prays herself. And when I was a kid, I would pray. I remember praying. I remember asking, you put your hands together, shut your eyes, and you ask God. As a kid, I remember being like, yo, man, can I get a bike? So I'm going to start posting. Instead of posting that I'm praying for the victims of natural disasters, I'm going to go sit next to, this Christmas time, I'm going to go sit next to one of those mall Santa Clauses. And I'm going to find out the wishes, the materialistic wishes. I'm not talking about world peace. I'm talking about the materialistic wishes of American children. No, shouldn't just limit it to American. I'm going to... Do they believe in Santa Claus across the world, everywhere? I don't know. Let's just say, I'm not going to fucking go out of town to do this. Let's just say here in the valley, the San Fernando Valley, in the Los Angeles area, I'm going to go to the fucking mall, and I'm going to sit next to a mall Santa. I'm going to listen to what all the kids say. And when a kid says, I just want a Hot Wheels set, I'm going to say, what was your name? Jacob. Jacob from Northridge. I'm like, all right, Jacob from Northridge who wants a Hot Wheels set. I'm going to pray for that. And then I'm going to make a collection, make a list of all the needs of all the children. And I'm going to go home, and instead of praying for people that are suffering hardships, instead of praying for the people that have diseases, instead of praying for the people who have lost their loved ones and feel just lonely and sad, I'm going to pray for Jacob and his Hot Wheels set. And I'm going to pray that Santa Claus, I'm going to pray that Jacob's parents are able to convince him that a mystic fat figure came down their chimney, which they don't have because they live in an apartment. Jacob's going to be like, how the fuck does this guy come down the chimney? We don't have a chimney. And they're going to be like, well, for people that live in apartments, it's a little different. He breaks in the window. Hey, we have locks on our window. How the fuck does Santa Claus break into every window on every apartment building in every city in the world in such a small period? Not even 24 hours. We're talking about darkness. We're talking about nighttime. How is this possible mathematically? And they say, you know what? Santa works in mysterious ways. And Jacob's going to be like, how the fuck is he not fatter when he eats all these cookies? His reindeer, you eat all these carrots? I'm going to be praying that his parents can somehow come up with a lie that they can sustain for one more year while being like, oh yeah, speaking of that guy that you're starting to doubt, he brought you this present, this Hot Wheels set that you asked for. And then they're going to be like, for some reason, I have this gut feeling. I have this instinctual feeling in the bottom of my gut that even though we ordered this off Amazon and it just got here yesterday, thank God. Even though we ordered this off Amazon and there is no Santa Claus, I think that the reason that you were actually able to get this, the reason that this wasn't late from Amazon was the fact that Michael Jones of Sherman Oaks kneeled down on his bedside and said, dear God, will you get, what was his name, Jacob, that Hot Wheels set? And it happened. I'm not saying that prayer doesn't work. This isn't supposed to be totally sarcastic and dickish, although it probably is considering my level of nicotine freeness. I didn't write down that I was going to talk about prayer today. I'm just talking shit. But it is a really interesting concept if you think about it. And I don't know, when I see, I watched some video and footage of the Mexico thing yesterday. I was fucking saddened. I was saddened by it. I wanted to actually post something on Twitter about it, and I didn't because I was like, what am I doing? I'm not helping. Is this self-serving? Why do I care that other people know that I'm saddened? Can I just be saddened? Hold on a second. All right, I got a phone call that I had to answer, and now I answered it. And now it's about 20 minutes later than when I was recording the podcast before, and I don't really remember what I was talking about. I was rambling on about nonsense. I remember it being kind of interesting, kind of fun to talk about, but I don't remember what it was. And you know what I'm not going to do because I'm lazy? I'm not going to go back and listen to it and try to make this whole thing coherent. I'm not going to try. I was going to finish that sentence I just said. I'm not going to try, but you know what? I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to try. Remember the little red engine that could? I think I can. I'm going to do the opposite of him. Not only am I going to think I cannot, I'm going to know I cannot because I'm not even going to try. The little engine that won't even try. It's not that he could or couldn't. He didn't even get to that point. That's what I'm going to be right now. Got a dentist appointment today. I'm looking at the time. I got to get this. I got time to finish this podcast and still do my dentist appointment and get there on time unless there's traffic. Unless there's... Oh, my God. I need to start getting guests on this podcast. I feel like last week, the one with my brother was a lot more fun and more interesting. I got a lot of positive response about it. It gets to a certain point where listening to me ramble about going to the dentist and wondering whether or not there's going to be traffic. It makes me wonder if it makes you wonder, if it makes yourself think, why the fuck do I care? I have traffic in my own life. I have my own dentist appointments to get to, both literally and figuratively, metaphorically speaking, and I just go to the dentist too, drive on roads where there may or may not be traffic. But I am going to the dentist today. I love my dentist office. I love it. There's not one male that works at my dentist office. It's all females. And I'm not saying that I go in there and have sexual fantasies about all the people that work there. I just feel like that's part of it. Not the sexual fantasies part, but the part where they're all female is part of the reason why I like it. I like going there. I feel welcome. I feel like people care. And maybe that's some deeply rooted, fucked up, patriarchal, whatever. Maybe that's the case. But you know what? So be it. I'd rather have people with vaginas take care of my teeth. Take that how you will. Take that how you want to take it. When it comes to my teeth and gum care, when it comes to my dental hygiene, I would prefer the people that look after it and give me advice on it have vaginas. Take that how you will. Maybe I'm a pervert. Maybe I'm a misogynist. Maybe I'm a mama's boy. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to go with that. So I'm going to let you use your imagination and fucking run wild. But I love my dentist office. And it is kind of like a mom and son relationship I have with the lady who cleans my teeth, which I can't even remember her name. I've been going there for like 5 years. Because she doesn't ever tell me her name. She's probably like 48. She cleans the shit out of my teeth. It's always very pleasant. I don't know that she knows my name. Well, she probably does because she punches it into the little schedule. My dentist office, whenever I have an appointment, because in the dentist office, they're like, are you free? Are you free on Wednesday at 9 next year in October? You're like, I guess. I don't think I have anything then. I don't have my things scheduled that far in advance. But what I love about my dentist office is that the week before your appointment, they call you, email you, and text you to remind you. And it's not annoying to me. I appreciate it because I'll forget shit. But, she takes care of my teeth. And every time she gives me the same advice. She's like, you probably should floss more. And I'm like, yeah, this time I will. She'll say, you need to get a Sonicare toothbrush. I know you brush with a regular brush, but you need to get a Sonicare. Sonicare is like some kind of electric toothbrush that brushes your teeth way better than a regular toothbrush. And every single time I'm like, you know what? I know last time I said I was going to get a Sonicare toothbrush, and I didn't. But this time I'm going to get one. You know what? I'm going to get one tomorrow. I'll even write the shit on a to-do list like I'm really going to do it. And for 5 years, I've never gotten one. But you know what? as the relationship you have with your mom, she annoys you and tells you to do something and tells you to do something and tells you to do something, and she wears away at it like a rainfall eroding the Grand Canyon. And eventually it's a beautiful Grand Canyon, which is eventually me having a Sonicare toothbrush. That's my relationship with my dental hygienist. I think today, it's funny, I always think like, the Sonicare toothbrush I think is like $80 to $100, and I'm always like, I shouldn't spend $80 to $100 on a Sonicare toothbrush. And then I'll go waste $80 on something else. One night out of fucking drinking and eating, spend $100, no problem. But I can't fucking take care of my dental fucking health. I'm getting a Sonicare toothbrush this afternoon, y'all. The stakes are high. I'm talking about my teeth here. I'm talking about chewing. I'm talking about eating. I'm talking about looking attractive. Tell you what, my teeth are getting yellow, y'all. Getting old. I've been smoking and drinking coffee for God knows how long. He knows how long because he knows everything. He knows exactly how long. God knows exactly how many cigarettes I've smoked and how many cups of coffee I've drank. And I don't drink when I drink coffee, I like swirl that shit around in my mouth like it's mouthwash and shit. I don't doesn't like go to the back of my throat and skip my teeth. I remember, who was that did that? There was a girl I knew that would drink coffee with a straw so the coffee would avoid her teeth because she didn't want her teeth to be yellow. I definitely noticed in the, especially considering putting out a new video in a couple weeks for me and Davies' project, Caviar, this project of 1980s music that we made. The new video is fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. But the girl in the video, it's very nice, white, straight teeth. My teeth are relatively straight, but when they show the close-up of her mouth and they show the close-up of my mouth, it certainly looks like my teeth. I don't think the color correction on the video helped. I don't think it helped the hue of my teeth. But let's just say I looked a little British. Looked a little British. If you don't want to go with British, Danny from Sheffield, Mike T. If you don't want to go with British, I look like a little Appalachian. I look like I was from an area where teeth are stereotypically not in the best condition. Looked a little Appalachian. Looked a little British. Looked a little I don't know. Looked like the son of a boxer. Or a boxer in general. Don't they have? A hockey player. I look like no, because they'd have missing teeth. Hockey player could have nice white teeth that he brushes and Sonicares all the time, but he just might be missing a few from that puck. From that fucking puck hitting him. Am I right? Oh, sitting down in a chair. That's the kind of noises I'm starting to make, y'all. Just groans, grunts, and sighs. That should be the title of my next mixtape is going to be called Groans, Grunts, and Sighs. And instead of being like, hey, yo, or, like when a track first starts, like, yeah, hey, yo, check. Before you start rhyming, before you start rapping, you say all these ad-libs. I think my next one is just going to be like the sound of me getting up from a chair. Or the sound of me sitting, this is really me doing this here. Sound of me sitting down in a chair. Sound like the same sound, didn't it? Sound like I sampled the first sound and replayed it. I'm going to sample that right now. Hold up. And just fucking loop it for a second. Hold up. All right. We are back. Wax's podcast coming at you live in a full effect. The reason that I even talked like that is because since I just did that little loop thing while I was doing that, that was about excuse me. That was about 10:30 a.m. this morning. While I was doing that, I had forgotten that my roommate Davey Nathan had a session in here, and I had to stop the podcast, put the podcast on hold for a little bit. Then I went to my dentist appointment. Then I had lunch with a friend of mine. Shout out to Intuition, Lee Shaner, aka Intuition. I had lunch with him down in at a Salvadoran restaurant Culver City. Restaurante. Down in Culver City. And then me and Davey went and he picked up a brand new synthesizer. Our studio is full of synthesizers. So many synthesizers that I just can't believe my eyes. My eyes are synthesized. You know what I mean? Now my eyes are synthesized. Am I right? Davey's looking at me. I think the reason I'm being weird right now is because I feel Davey's eyes watching me as I do the podcast. I feel that he's judging me as I speak. But all he's doing is testing his new synth. He got a Prophet. What's that called? A Prophet 5. Sometimes I feel like somebody's watching me. Do do da do da do. La do la do. I always will want to be loved. I always feel like somebody's watching me. And it ain't nobody. No. Cast Me Outside. How about that? We've been everybody. The big talk in the music biz is the Cast Me Outside. How about that? Girl got a big deal with Atlantic Records based on her song These Hoes. Hoes spelled Heaux, as they would spell it in New Orleans if it was a Cajun dish. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of you guys are going to be mad. It's not that bad of a song. If you just heard that song in passing, skip the verses. Forget the verses. If you just heard like that hook and that beat in passing as you drove down the street, you wouldn't be like, that's horrendous. That's a fucking travesty. And some of you are like, yeah, right, I would, because all I listen to is Pharoah Monch. I keep it. The only rapper I listen to is Pharoah Monch, and I occasionally listen to old Cool Herc tapes from the parks. Old Cool Herc tapes from the parties he put on in the Bronx in the 70s. Those are the only two artists I listen to. Old Cool Herc tapes and Pharoah Monch. And if I heard that Cash Me Outside Girl song from 8 miles away, no pun intended for the 8 Mile movie that depicted the art of rap, I would be upset and appalled at what the music industry is doing. How dare they try to make billions of dollars? How dare they try to make a shitload of money off of somebody who clearly will make them a lot of money? I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I don't know what to tell you about the Cash Me Outside Girl. I can tell you that Cash was a kind of a foreshadowing. The word cash being in her catchphrase. Cash phrase. She sure did cash. She cashed it outside, talking about the paycheck she got from Atlantic Records. She didn't cash it outside, though. She cashed it inside a very prestigious bank. More like deposited inside, huh? This is Wax. This is Wax's podcast, episode 155. It's a little bit of a schizophrenic podcast, and it's going to continue to be that way because I've got to get to the questions and shout-outs. You can catch me outside. How about that? Catch me outside. Okay, what are we going to? Okay, let's go. Let's do the shout-outs. You know what? We're going to do something unorthodox today because usually I don't have somebody in the room when I do my podcast. I'm going to start the shout-out section with a shout-out to my really good friend and roommate and partner in musical crime, David Nathan. Hey. He's over there working his profit. It sounds like a word for jerking off, maybe. Working his profit. Working the profit margins. Huh? But we got a project coming out, the Caviar Project. It's probably going to come out like the mid to end October. We got a sick-ass music video for the lead single, 5-song EP. And Caviar with 2 V's, Cavviar. Speaking of being caught outside, how bow that? No, it's going to be dope. We're going to start putting out promos for it on mine and his social media outlets. But I got to warn you, I got to warn you if you've been a fan of my music for a while. It is a side project. There's no rapping on the project. It's not a wax project. It's like as if I joined a band. It's a new band, and I happen to do the lead vocals, dude. Killing it. Anyway, shout out to Lord D Rock. Shout out to Zach from Manchester. We got Francis S. from England. Francis S. sent me a pic of him rocking a Scrub Life tee, one of the old Scrub Life fork tees, while standing with who I believe was his family at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It was a very picturesque, pristine picture. Thank you, Francis S., for not only wearing my shirt, but for visiting our lovely United States of America. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of fucking bad shit going on in America right now, but as a man who's traversed this great nation many times, people might be a little fucked up. Politics is very fucked up, but it's a beautiful place. A lot of beautiful things to see, a lot of cool cities, a lot of cool landscapes, a lot of very interesting natural parks and shit. Shit like that, man. All right, we got Roland R. If you don't remember, Roland R. is the person who was emailing like probably 10 episodes ago for a few episodes in a row about fruits. And Roland R. told me that he makes smoothies every morning, and in these smoothies he has 5 bananas. A bunch of other shit too. You hear me, Davey? 5 bananas a day. That's a lot of bananas. 25, he says 5 times a week, 25 bananas he eats. That's like a bunch of bananas every day.
That's a whole backseat worth of bananas.
It's a backseat of bananas. Backseat of bananas. He's bananas. He's going bananas, literally. Everywhere he goes bananas. His whole body is going bananas. His brain's bananas. His heart's bananas. He went to the doctor. The doctor's like, let me guess. You've been eating a lot of bananas. He's like, how'd you know? He's like, every single thing inside of you is made out of potassium and yellow mush. Other words, you're fucking bananas. And then we got Tara M. Tara M recommends Mark Maron's Netflix special, Too Real. I have not seen it. Have you, David?
No.
I've not seen it. I'm not usually a super fan of Mark Maron as a stand-up comedian, to be honest with you. I saw one of his specials, and I was like, I don't know.
Not that special.
It didn't seem special. Yeah, it seemed more like a regular. It should be called Mark. Do you see Mark Maron's new regular? Because it wasn't a special. But that said,
So he was Mark Maron off.
Hey, did you guys hear that? He said maybe he was Mark Maron off. Maybe you should have a special.
Yeah.
I think David's gonna have a special soon on Netflix, but I don't mean to be rude. Mark Maron's special could be amazing, and if Tara M recommends it, I'm going to go ahead and go with her recommendation. And also, I really enjoy Mark Maron's podcast, so I'm gonna share. We're gonna do a double Mark Maron recommendation. Tara M's going to go with his special, and I'm going to recommend his WTF podcast. All right, we got Art W. We got the infamous A-Def and J-Def. Shout out to y'all down in San Clemente. We got Dana from the web series Bitches Who Drink Beer. Great web series I used to watch. And Dana said that she is in the process of stepping up her game. She got a person who's going to make her videos look a lot doper than they used to look. And she is going to drink. She's going to review craft beers. And I think not just craft beers, review all different types of beers. All right, this is from JD. What's up, Big Wax? Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to give you a heads up about your Califia coffee creamer. You want to hear? Listen to this real quick, because I don't think I told you about this. Remember I told you that Ralph's doesn't sell my almond milk creamer anymore?
Yeah.
So this is from JD. What's up, Big Wax? Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to give you a heads up about your Califia coffee creamer. I'm the dairy manager at Natural Grocers. Like Whole Foods, but more mom and pop feel to it. Pretty dope if you ever find yourself back in Albuquerque. Come check it out. I'll hook you up with some free samples. Well, thank you, man. But anyway, we've been out of Califia Farms everything since July 4th weekend. I got an email from Califia saying a lot of their harvest was ruined with the floods in California earlier this year, and that the newest harvest won't be finished until October. And they said, hopefully we will be able to bring product back to stores by November 1st. So just like your local Ralph's, we also stopped carrying it for a while, but should be back soon. Hopefully, until then, look for a brand called Ripple. It's creamer made from pea protein, PEA. Not pee, not urine.
Yeah, not piss.
Not piss. And it's good as hell. I switched after we stopped carrying Califia. Thank you so much, JD. I appreciate it. I just thought I'd share that with you guys. A couple weeks ago, I invented some fake story about how the guy that owns the silk company bought them out. And that's what actually happened. It's kind of interesting. It's just some nature shit, you know? You forget that we get our food from nature. And if nature wants to fuck our food up, it can. So for somebody like Califia Farms.
Breaking stories.
What's that?
You're breaking stories on Wax's podcast.
Davey says that I'm breaking stories on Wax's podcast. I'm not the one who broke it. We give credit to the reporter. The reporter's JD. We are the CNN of the streets, though.
There you go.
And you know what the streets is talking about? Almond milk. All right, this next one's from Jeff. I'm listening to Wax's podcast for the first time, and I'm judging it. Loved it, man. Hell, an earlier comment in it that you made about bouncing between 50K and 49.9K Twitter followers also made me follow you on Twitter. And I bet, you know what, Shaw? I think a few of you guys did that because I'm at a solid 50K right now. Let me see where I'm at. Let me pull up my Twitter and see if I have bounced back down to 49. Yeah, I haven't said something negative about Trump for a while, so maybe I'm still at 50. Oh, I'm at 50.1. Davey's like looking at me like I don't give a fuck, dude. I went to my Twitter. Oh, shit. Top thing on my Twitter right now, Palmer Squares. The Palmer Squares are doing their No More Jobs tour this year. It goes from September 28th until November 8th. The Palmer Squares, who I toured with last year. Great couple of dudes. If you want to check them out, they're in a bunch of places in California. I got to find out where they're at in L.A. Go check it out. I think I know where they're at in L.A. I think I remember. I think they're at the same place we did last time. Anyway, check that out. I'm at 50.1, y'all. I must have done something great. Maybe it's just all thanks to Wax's podcast. I appreciate it, y'all. I don't know. Anyway, Jeff continues. I guess I should take this opportunity to ask a question as well, since that seems to be a thing. It wasn't one of the most asked as per your Chicago tough love expert, but I'd bet it ranks up there. Shout out to Ed from Chicago. I'm currently trying to find the balance between wanting less and accomplishing more. Where do you find the drive to accomplish so much? And before you say you don't really accomplish that much, you have a weekly podcast, you did Acoustic Mondays, you have a monthly show with friends at a club, and you manage to make albums as well. And you do it without a boss over your shoulder. Any advice in cultivating that work ethic? Well, Jeff, first of all, I appreciate you for making me feel like I'm good at that today. I think yeah, I don't know. I always feel like I'm not doing enough. So maybe that's something. Maybe part of having a work ethic is just always feeling like you ain't doing enough. And then if you step out, you kind of see that you are doing a lot. But I think the important thing to realize as far as the balance between wanting less and accomplishing more is I think what I've realized as far as that goes is you just have to be happy with where you're at regardless, whether you're fucking up or whether you're doing great. And I found that a way to think about it is that you can't base your happiness on accomplishments. Happiness and contentment is a day-to-day thing, something you do every day. So whether you're fucking around partying or whether you're doing yoga or whether you're in the studio, whatever you're doing, you just got to appreciate the day, appreciate the present, man. That's much easier said than done. And as far as accomplishing shit, first of all, it doesn't take that much to do my podcast. Took a little bit. The Acoustic Mondays actually probably takes more than people think. So that was wow. The monthly show takes some time. Speaking of the monthly show, October 1st. October 1st, y'all, Westside Comedy Theater, the next Wax and Friends. It is the Awesome Autumn Fest. The Awesome Autumn Fest. And we're going to have some great music and some great comedians. October 1st, not this Sunday, the Sunday after that, 9 p.m. at Westside Comedy Theater. Y'all should come out. R.T. Steckel, Anna Vocino, Lauren Turquino. Got J. Chris Newberg. Check him out on YouTube if you want to. He's a fucking funny-ass musical comedian. And as far as your question, Jeff, I appreciate you sending it. You made me feel good. You made me feel like I'm doing something right. I was talking to Intuition about that today. It's kind of like whether or not you consider that yourself being driven to accomplish stuff or whatever, it kind of depends on who you're comparing yourself to. You know, I have musician friends that I grew up with that, you know, if they were to have a song, it'd be a big deal, you know. Write a song. But I have musician friends that are either doing better than me or work harder than me that, you know, they make an album every time I make a song, you know. And you just got to be you, man. Thanks, Jeff. This next one's from JP. Hey, Wax, how's it going? I have a random question for you since you have no more emails to catch up on. A la episode 153. Yeah, speaking of that, I actually caught up with him again. So, beatsforwax@gmail.com. Send me some emails, y'all. Usually I'm way behind on the emails. Now I've finally caught up. So send me some more. beatsforwax@gmail.com. I'm sending you this knowing you and your way of ignoring the podcast from time to time. Anyway, my question is, what's your opinion on Serbs, Serbs, or other people from the Balkans / Slavic people in general? Do you have any friends from this part of the world? That's all from me. Hope you have a good one. Now, one of the reasons I decided to answer this question is because I've never had a friend from that part of the world. And I think that when I wrote this down, I was going to do some kind of research and maybe talk about man, I really stumped myself. There's really no point in me answering this question. I don't have any friends that are Serbs. I actually don't know anything about Serbs. I don't know anything about the Balkans or Slavic people in general. Yeah, I really failed you, JP. I fucking failed you. I have zero input to give on this. There's no insight that I can bring to the table as far as this topic is concerned. And when it comes to this area of expertise, I can't comment because I lack any knowledge whatsoever on this topic. If there was a test, an exam in college, in a class, even at the 101 level, about the topic that your question introduced into the medium of discussion, the modicum, what is the word I'm looking for? I would get a 0%. I would flunk out of the class because I haven't done any studying on the material. Anyway, this next one's from Danny from Sheffield. Danny from Sheffield says, Mike, I wrote a poem. It starts with the title. The title is Fuck Mike T. And it's well written. I like the way that it's, you can't see with the way that I'm going to read it, but I'm going to try to read it in the way that it's formatted, in the way that it's versed out. It's very long and skinny on the paper with certain punctuation and spaces. All right, fuck Mike T. No one cares, Mike T. No one cares, Mike T. Mike T, what job do you have? Oh, You are secure. No one cares. No one needs to know. You believe you have a purpose. You do. No, you don't. Mike T. No one cares. No one cares about you or for you. Your mother hates you. Your dad touched you. No one cares. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck off, Mike T. When you come, you drip drop. Your penis is tiny. When you get pussy, your dick flops. You're a definite virgin, Mike T. Fuck you, Mike T. Lots of love from Dan Nee. So, Wax, describe your first experience on MDMA. Well, that was beautiful. That's where the saga is left. I feel like me and Ed from Chicago have definitely won the America versus UK portion of the battle. The battle between me and Ed and Danny from Sheffield and Mike T. Because Danny from Sheffield clearly does not want to even be aligned with Mike T. Understandably so. Who would? Who would want to be aligned with Mike T besides maybe R2-D2 or another robot? R2-D2 is way too smart and self-sufficient to want to be aligned with Mike T anyway. C-3PO would not even be aligned with Mike T. The only robot that could possibly be aligned with Mike T is RoboCop, because RoboCop would want to kill Mike T, and he could do it easily with the gun that he keeps inside of his shin. Maybe I was inspired by Danny from Sheffield's poem. Maybe the rage and the raw artistic emotion expressed in the poem that was typed so beautifully and poetically by Danny from Sheffield has actually gotten into my soul and made me hate Mike T even more than I previously did. I wonder what Mike T's doing right now. I bet you it's something. He's probably looking for a job. He's probably at a grocery store asking. He's like, "Hey, I see that you have the self-checkout lines. Could you take those out and have me instead?" He's at a bank. He's like, "You guys have ATM machines?" They're like, "Yeah." How about you just put me over there with like a stack of 20s and people just tell me their PIN number and I could just give them the money, you know? The guy that works at the bank is like, "Well, what if somebody strong came along and threatened you and stole the money?" He'd be like, "Well, that's poker." As my boy Andy Kuhn used to say. That's poker. But Mike T's like, "But wouldn't you want it to be a more friendly experience with a nice guy such as myself saying, 'Hello, what's your PIN number?' It's not 2468. That's all the even numbers up to 10. It's like, "No, it is, dog." "No, it ain't." Guy pulls out a gun. He's like, "Just give me the money, dog." "That's poker." Wonder where Mike T is right now. What other what other jobs were taken over by robots that used to be human jobs? Can't think of one right now. Vending machines. Mike T's standing next to a vending machine with a bunch of Cokes and Sprites. Probably charging 5 cents more than the machine charges. Like, people are like, why would I buy it from you? It's 5 cents more. Because of that human interaction, that charm you get from me, eh? People are like, I would buy it if yours was 10 cents and this was 50 cents. He's like, "Cents, we use pounds and farthings and shillings." Cents? Did I say pence? What's a pen? Besides the vice president, what's pence? Sing a song of 6 cents a pocket full of ride. No. Where is pence? Isn't pence a form of money measurement, Davey? Pence? I have 50 pence. 50 pence. I don't know. If that was the case, Mike Pence actually would have been a good rap name. Yo, it's Mike Pence. I like dollars. I don't like cents. You know what I'm saying? Mike T. Yeah, I guess that's it for the podcast. The last thing I have here is Danny from Sheffield's poem. So I think we're gonna have to leave it at that. And I'm just gonna have to tell you guys to be safe out there.